First of all, just to get started, I have to say to all the Saints fans, all the football fans, okay, the true Saints never lose. We are undefeated, okay? I just had to get that out of my system this morning, y'all. You know, when you think about Christmas, what do you think about? What comes to mind? Do you really think about Christ? I would offer to you this morning that the general population does not. Christ is not really that much of Christmas at all. But for true believers, for those who know Him, Christ should be the purpose of every gathering, every celebration, every event that we participate in, that we get involved in. Christ should be there. Our thoughts of Him. I think about early in my life, I'm guessing I was about 11 or 12. And things were tough at my house. My dad worked for the county. He drove a dump truck. And we lived from paycheck to paycheck. And there was this one Christmas that I knew that things were very difficult. We had some bills we had to pay, some things like that. And as an 11 and 12-year-old boy, I was a little concerned about what I was going to get for Christmas. So I turned on the tears. Because I didn't know, I knew my daddy didn't have no money to get me anything for Christmas. And my Christmas was based on what I got. So I had to, I actually, as a young but very professional sinner, I was capable of manipulating my dad with my tears to tell me how he was going to provide me something for Christmas. Because that's what it was based on. So I turned on the tears. And you know, I have to tell you this, folks. My dad was an alcoholic, so I learned manipulation early in life. As a drunk, I had to learn how to manipulate him when he was drunk and when he was sober. It was two different ways you had to get to him, you know. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I believe everybody in here is a manipulator in some form or fashion. So it's not just that. It's just sometimes some people get better at it than others, okay? So I cranked up the tears and I had them welling. Oh, well, I'm not going to get anything for Christmas this year, Daddy. I know we ain't got no money. Anyway, that went on for about 30 minutes to an hour, and he finally broke. Boy, that was a tough one to get him to break. But he had to tell me he borrowed some money from my aunt and my uncle, and, you know, they're buying us Christmas this year, a bicycle and some stuff. You know, that's what we were looking for. But you know what, folks? Christmas, my childhood, I knew nothing of Christ. I had no hope. You know what my hope was? My hope was what I was getting Christmas morning. That's what my hope was. I had no other purpose in life. I was only looking for that next one, that next event. So Christ had nothing to do with that. The Santa Claus and all the wonder of Christmas, it was built around me. It was built around me. I was the king. I was the supreme being at that time. In my mind, I was the supreme being. It didn't matter if I manipulated my dad or hurt him or my other family. It didn't matter because it was to me. Now, folks, have you put much thought into Christmas? Where are you looking? What are you looking forward to? Where are you looking to celebrate Christmas? In your heart of hearts, where do you see the value of this celebration? Are you excited about anything? Sometimes we're excited about family. Oh, we get to see some family. Sometimes we're not so excited about family. Uh-oh, family's coming. You know? What are we excited about for Christmas? Are we excited about Christmas Day? Young folks, are you excited about what you're going to get? Is that really what's on your mind? The most important thing for me for Christmas is me and what I receive upon my desires, upon my lust, what I want, What do I think that I'm going to get for Christmas that's really going to make me happy? Because I want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. Does the Christmas spirit thrill your soul? Does your ideas around this time of year change? People say, oh, some people get the Christmas spirit around Christmas, don't they? They're so generous, you know. They're practicing it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. Well, actually, folks, it is not wrong to receive. He just said it was more blessed, right? So it's still good to get. But it's just more blessed to give. And we do this for our conscience. Whatever reason we do what we do, it helps us to be happy. Well, folks, Oswald Chambers says this: holiness, not happiness, is the chief end of man. Holiness. Now, see, if you take this concept that Brother Chambers addresses here and says, holiness and not happiness is the chief end of man, then how does that affect your celebrations? How does it affect how you see your celebrations and your gatherings and your parties and so forth? You know, this Christmas, how will you celebrate a God such as our God this Christmas? How is a God like ours to be celebrated? Well, folks, let me tell you how the world's going to do it, okay? And I believe that some believers might get caught up into it as well, with feastings that could be called gluttony. Yep. With partying, which could be called drunkenness and rioting. Or how about exchange of gifts that could be called greed? See, folks, in and of themselves, these things are not bad. We love feasting. Feasting is a part of God's celebration. There's feasting all through the Bible, feasting, but there is a degree which is called gluttony. What happens? Well, partying, we love to fellowship. We call it fellowshipping, right? We fellowship and we partying. That's a good thing. But folks, when the world takes anything good that God has given, man's sin corrupts that, and we are all capable of going to that degree. The exchanging of gifts, nothing wrong with that. But if we're going to consume it, receive it upon our lust, that affects everything. That affects it all. Now, how does holiness work out in this? How does holiness work out in a Christmas celebration? Well, it has to change your view of things such as these. Changes your view of self. And I believe that when Christ came in the flesh, that He brought on that degree of holiness as an introduction for a sinful mankind to perceive that there should be something different, something better, something higher, something greater. Now I want to say this, folks. In your sinfulness, you will never love God like you ought to, like He deserves. You will never, as long as you're in flesh, you will never be able to love Him as He deserves to be loved. I don't care who you are, what you think about yourself, or your most spiritual moments you've experienced, you are not going to love Him as He deserves. On the other hand, Christ never at any moment not love Him as the Father deserves. Never. Now, see, that's beautiful when you think about it. Because when you think of the holiness that is brought in with Christ being veiled in flesh, He has given us a picture of the wonder of the most important thing, a holy God who deserves all worship, who deserves all that we can ever give of ourselves to Him.